You're about to embark on a design thinking journey. That's excellent. Let's get you started with some of the basics. During the life cycle of designing or developing innovative products, services, and businesses, there is a range of different frameworks, techniques, tools, and principles for collaboration and effective decision making. Today we're going to introduce a process called design thinking. Design thinking is a process for creative and innovative problem solving and is an excellent framework for designing and planning processes, services, products, and new business ventures. What makes this different from most innovation models is that it's human-centered. This means that with this process, we base most of our decision making on the humans that our solution is being built for. In a nutshell, the process focuses us on first unlocking and prioritizing the desirability of an idea, then assessing how to make the idea real or the feasibility stage, and finally understanding how viable it is to develop and operate the idea. There are two forms of design thinking frameworks that I know and use. One that is mostly suited to developing new solutions, and one process that is better suited to developing on top of existing solutions. Today I will introduce the design thinking framework that is better suited to developing new solutions. For now, I'll only be providing high-level intro to the process and will discuss more in depth in later videos. The steps are this. First, empathize. Empathize is getting an understanding of the users in our 2B systems. These users are our customers, our end users of our products and services, which may be different from our customers, the team, the people who are going to operate the solution that we're building, and our stakeholders. Our stakeholders both within our own organisation and in organisations surrounding ours. This step is usually done through either observations or interviews with users, or by gathering insights from stakeholders who regularly spend enough time with these users. The next step is define. Define in this context is to take what we have learned in the empathize phase and to articulate or define that information into something that is shareable with others, such as stakeholders or teammates. Personas and user journeys are great examples of tools used in the define stage. This step of the process also includes defining what our own and our business needs are, including steps such as capturing our vision, our business requirements, and expected outcomes into a shareable format. At the conclusion of this step, we should have several questions to answer that we frame as how might we, as in how might we do X. The next step is ideate. In this step, we look for possible solutions to the identified problems. The goal here is to cast a wide net, gather many ideas and build on top of ideas, then to narrow back down to one, two, or a few possible solutions for each of the problems. This is called Divergent Convergent thinking. An example of this step might be to brainstorm lots of ideas, followed by having a business leader clarify the highest priorities and constraints, therefore narrowing down the options. At the completion of this step, we should have a list of possible solutions. Next, we prototype. In this phase, we are not necessarily prototyping our ideas in digital wireframes or dummy websites. This is about synthesizing the ideas into tangible, explainable things that we can show to our users in the next phase. Finally, we test. Testing is about gathering feedback and validating our biggest assumptions. This is often the best and cheapest way to validate our concepts before starting any expensive development process. If at the end of the process you are satisfied with the results, move on to developing the solution. If the results are not clear, or the customers are not satisfied, or you've still got questions to answer, go back a step or two or back to the start. Keep iterating until you've designed your future solution. Designing the new, the critical success factors to design thinking. Designing new things is not easy, especially when you need to use the brains, the hands, and the time of those people around you to create the new thing. Getting everyone on the same page and giving their most innovative ideas and their time is critical to success. As such, there are some critical success factors to design thinking. First critical success factor is mindsets. This is about understanding that customers, users, team members, and stakeholders all have different backgrounds, different reasons for saying the things they do, and sometimes different agendas. There are several techniques throughout the design thinking process that are applied to ensure that the right framing for a conversation is set and to minimize the risks of agendas and bias coming up in the process. One example of a classic mindset that can disrupt the process is a fixed mindset. So a fixed mindset is somebody who has a fear of failure or believes that they are an absolute expert at what they're doing. whereas we're trying to harness and grow a growth mindset. So these people believe that failure is an opportunity to grow, and that they're willing to learn things throughout the process. So we want to avoid fixed mindsets throughout this process and nurture growth mindsets. The second critical success factor is a beginner's mindset. Now, beginner's mindset is a specific mindset to call out. This is about ensuring that we, as the subject matter experts, are careful not to assert our interpretations into the outcomes. To avoid this, we must keep asking ourselves, is this what the user wants, or is it what I want? Empathy. While this is the first step in all design thinking, it is still important to point out what this really means in design. Empathy means not only to know someone's intentions, but also to understand their feelings, their pain points, and their reasons for doing certain things. Through truly empathizing with the users, stakeholders, and our teams, we unlock real value for them and the ability for us to innovate. If we do not properly empathize, we risk creating solutions that do not solve key pain points, are hard for stakeholders to understand, or do not solve a market need. Systems thinking. This is about considering that every piece of information, every insight is part of a system. And by being part of one system, it may be separate from or different if considered in another system. Through system thinking, we can consider problems and solutions from different contexts. This framing technique allows us to ensure that we are covering risks, as well as designing things that are truly new and innovative. The last critical success factor is divergent then convergent thinking. While it is sometimes tempting to jump straight to a solution, we use this process of diverge then converge to make sure that we are mitigating risks of bias interfering with our thinking patterns. An example of divergent then convergent thinking is the use of ideation followed by prioritization to generate multiple different ideas, but then to narrow down on a few solutions. This way we make sure we have rapidly considered more than one option. And that covers the critical success factors and an introduction to design thinking framework.